The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
After Jesus had revealed himself to his disciples and eaten breakfast with them, he said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" Simon Peter answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." He then said to Simon Peter a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Simon Peter answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was distressed that he had said to him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Amen, amen, I say to you, when you were younger, you used to dress yourself and go where you wanted. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you to where you do not want to go." He said this signifying by what kind of death he would glorify God. And when he had said this, he said to him, "Follow me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So on this morning of graduation, I invite you to put yourself in the shoes of a high school graduate. Getting ready to go off to college. And often that view towards college, that view towards the future of a high school senior, is a view towards freedom. I can remember thinking, moving on to college, when I go to college I can say anything I want, do anything I want, go anywhere I want, eat anything I want. The thought of college was the thought of unbridled freedom. And we know that that unbridled freedom crushes many college dreams in that first semester. Freedom is sort of on the horizon for the young person. And we think of freedom in terms of options and ability to do anything we want. I think those of you who have made your way through life, you find that allure of freedom slowly diminishes as you make your way through life. You get married, and that freedom in some ways diminishes. You have children, and that freedom is greatly diminished. You choose a career that places demands on you, and furthermore, that freedom is diminished. It's interesting when we look at other people, when we look at the world, we often judge people's success by how much freedom have they been able to retain. Wow, that person can do anything they want. That person could say anything they want. That person could hire or fire anyone they want. But I think those of you who have been walking this journey with God your whole lives, you find that that is not the dynamic at work. That the more we walk with the Lord, the less freedom in many ways we have. We can't do anything we want. And more than doing, we can't think anything that we want. We are, in some ways, we are constrained by the demands of the gospel. We are constrained, we are limited by the demands of love. That's one of these great mysteries in life, is that love, we turn ourselves over to love, and it narrows the scope of our lives, but it focuses our scope of our lives, and it helps us to hone in on the meaning of our lives. And so we give up freedom, in a sense, to love more, love better. What's interesting to me is that we see that this is what we see at work in the gospel today. That Peter, as a young man, could go where he wanted, dress himself, etc., etc. But Jesus points out to him that this, even in a post-resurrection world, that the demands of love will still place great limits on him. When you grow old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you to where you do not want to go. The demands of love led St. Peter to give his life for God and for the church. And in our own small way, I think the demands of love do the same for us. That we turn ourselves over to love, and we are limited in our freedom. Freedom in the eyes of the world. In a sense, when we celebrate the Eucharist, we see that that's what Christ does. Christ limits himself. He places himself in the small, humble object of bread. But that's bread that feeds us and gives us life. And we are invited to love in the same way, to love in small and humble ways, but to give life to others.